die, it's me, Faith. I'm gonna crash.
The thoughts in my head were nonstop. You're bad, you're horrible, kill yourself.
She told me, look, Mom, you're gonna be fine when I die. And I realized, you know what? This depression is killing her the same way as a malignant tumor would be killing her. They said, would you be open to trying absolutely everything? And if you still feel this terrible, you can end your life. As a parent, it's so hard because you never know what's a normal phase of just growing up and what's mental illness. What happened in third grade, which was really a tipping point. She was 8 or 9 years old at this time, and she had gotten in trouble at school for playing a mean trick on this new girl in her class. And the teacher had called me, and a bunch of kids had done this with Faith. And so when Faith got home from school, I talked to her about it, and I thought that was the end of it. But then she came down after bedtime, and she grabbed a knife off the counter in the kitchen, and she stood in front of the TV. My husband paused the TV, and Faith's standing there with a knife in her hands, and she's just a little girl. She's wearing tie-dye pajamas with chicks on them, and she says, I'm a terrible person. And it really broke my heart because I knew that this had just gathered into a horrible dark cloud of shame in her head as she was lying in bed by herself trying to fall asleep. And I said, you're not a terrible person. You did something that wasn't kind, and it's okay to feel bad about that, but it doesn't make you a terrible person. And she was just holding that knife, and she's like toying with it against her palm. And I was like, oh my God, this is beyond typical. This is not normal behavior for a third grade girl. And so I said, Faith, do you want to maybe see a therapist? And she nodded and said yes. And she handed me the knife and fell into our arms. And that was really the beginning of understanding that this was not just a phase. This was actually something that we had to deal with help of professionals.
I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety around when I was 9 and started therapy. The kind of main thing that I can remember from my childhood is that anytime I would mess up and do something wrong, my immediate thought would be, I'm a horrible person, I should be dead, everyone would be better without me. I think one of the big core beliefs that I had growing up was that there are good people in the world and there are bad people in the world. So statistically, that means some people are bad, and I was just one of the bad ones. So I was very, very convinced that I was just dealt a bad hand of cards and I'm a bad person. And that kind of carried with me throughout my childhood. So anytime something bad would happen, I would be suicidal, or I'd want to self-harm, or it would just be like an entire meltdown. The thoughts in my head were nonstop, constant. You're bad, you're horrible, kill yourself, nobody wants you around, you're just a horrible person.
And then things really took a turn for the worse in middle school. In 8th grade, we got to the point where we realized that she needed to go to a psychiatric hospital because she was suicidal. After that, things accelerated again to the point where she went to a therapeutic boarding school, which was a complete and utter disaster of a place. And we had to rescue her from there. We had to take her home. And she ended up going to another school, like a regular traditional boarding school. And she had a therapist there, and it just kept going and going. Then she eventually got kicked out of that school, and she came back home and found a new therapist.
When I was 17, I had left the house with all intentions of never coming back and ending my life. And I wrote a note, and I got the things that I needed to carry out my plan, and I attempted, and it didn't work. And I remember feeling so defeated by that because I was so desperate for relief. All I wanted was to end my pain. My narrative then became, I'm such a failure that I can't even kill myself correctly. And so for me, it was just like a a moment of defeat where I was like, even though I'm so certain that I need to end my life, I don't know how to do it in a way that's actually gonna work. And so when I came home, that was the defeat that my mom saw in me.
When she came home and I saw in her face how completely depleted she was, completely hopeless, something had changed, because she had had depression for many years, but her depression was always sort of fueled by anger and frustration. And this was such a different feeling that I was getting from her. It was more complete, soul-crushing hopelessness. And that scared me. And so I was more open to hearing her when she told me, look, Mom, you're going to be fine when I die. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I will never be fine. And she said, but kids get cancer all the time and they die, and parents get over it. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Parents never get over that. I would never get over losing you. And I said, besides, you don't have cancer. And that was such a light bulb moment, because she's like, but if I did have cancer, and you tried everything and nothing worked, you would let me die. And I realized, you know what? This depression is killing her the same way as a malignant tumor would be killing her. And it was just it was like the last vestiges of this mental illness stigma just came away. And I realized this was as deadly as cancer, and I had to treat it that way. So I said, would you be open to trying absolutely everything, from Western medicine to Eastern medicine, everything in between? And if you still feel this terrible, then I get it. You can end your life, is what I said to her. Which was a weird thing to say to your daughter when that was the last thing on earth that you want to have happen.
I think some people see that moment as my mom giving up on me, when that was not at all what it was, and it didn't feel that way at all to me. It felt like, instead of me fighting her to get her to believe how bad I feel, she was finally recognizing how bad I felt. And so for me, it was a huge moment of like, I finally felt understood. I felt relieved that she really could see how much pain I was in. I was 100% certain that nothing was going to work. I was positive of it. There was not a cell in my body that thought that we could try something new that we hadn't already tried that was going to magically be the fix. And so for me, it wasn't that moment gave me hope that I was going to be okay. That moment actually gave me hope that there was finally a way out. And so for me, I was like, great. Now I just have this checklist where I have to try X amount of weird treatments for my mental illness, and then finally I can kill myself. And so for me, it was really just about like, fine, all right, let's start moving through these inevitable failures so that I can get to death.
People ask me all the time about this, and they think that I didn't really mean it, but I actually really did understand how much pain she was in. And I really do believe that it was up to her. Like, it's no way to live a life to be in that much pain every day for the rest of your life. And so I really was just letting go, giving control to her, and letting her know I understood the depth of her pain.
One of the things that we tried was working with an energy healer. And I was like, that seems scammy. But my mom was like, the only thing that I ask from you is that you go into all of these things with an open mind. So I was like, I can be open to this, even though I think it's going to be a bunch of crap. We wrap up the session. It's like an hour and a half. I come out and I just feel like lighter and happier and like very suspicious of like what's happening here. And my mom likes to share that I came down and she saw a light in my eyes for the first time in years. I thought I was going to feel better for like maybe a week tops. But then more days kept passing and passing and passing, and I felt okay, and I felt okay, and I felt okay. So finding like the right treatments and also being medicated and staying on my meds is a huge, huge, huge part of my story. I now have a bipolar diagnosis. I didn't fit the perfect depiction of what bipolar looks like and how it presented. So there was a lot of questions about like, is that an accurate diagnosis? And then I think when I was 17, they were like, well, we'll put you on lithium, which is for bipolar. And if it works, then you have bipolar. And it did work. So I now have a bipolar diagnosis. And I feel like that's a diagnosis that makes a lot of sense for me.
I think that you have to put together the years of therapy and the conversation that we had where I was no longer had any stigma around it. I was 100% on Faith's side. And the lithium that she started and the energy healing. I think like you have to look at the whole thing to understand how things did get better for Faith.
But I think what made the biggest difference for me was when my mom was able to manage her own fears enough to not give me the it gets better spiel and it's going to be okay spiel. Because the fact of the matter is we can't see the future. No one can see the future. We don't know if it's going to be okay. We don't know if there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And when you're feeling so hopelessly depressed, even if there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that doesn't mean you have the energy to get there. What actually kept me from ending my life was when she recognized how serious it was. I think that validation in those darkest moments is really what helps people be like, okay, I can hold on a little bit longer because someone's seeing how much pain I'm in.
The most important thing that a parent can do for a child who's struggling like that with mental illness is to empathize and to validate. And that's it. It's what you got to do. And, be there to support. You're not gonna fix things. You're there to be like a loving witness. You're there to help them help themselves. You always feel a little insecure when you're parenting kids because you don't know if you're screwing them up or how you're screwing them up or if you're doing okay. And then this Mother's Day, Faith actually got a mom tattoo on her body, which for me was like the ultimate of, yeah, you did okay, Mom. She loves you so much that she actually tattooed your name on her body. So that felt really good. I feel so lucky and blessed to have the relationship with her that I do.
And so now getting to do this work together, we have a TikTok where we create content about our journey with mental health and smashing the stigma of mental illness. And that's been just a really beautiful evolution of our relationship to now get to be a team and work together to make a difference and share our story in a way that we hope helps other people. Our story is not at all unique, but talking about it is. Being able to say like, no, actually a lot of people struggle with this and everyone is so ashamed to talk about it.
I think we are going to really save lives and help to end the stigma against mental illness.
We are seen. Are you?